We have 13 homes opening around Geelong and on the Bellarine, with the homes in and around Geelong opening from 10 to 2 and those on the Bellarine opening from 1 to 5. So that staggered opening times means that people can get around most of the houses that they want to. We always have a few that try and get round the lot. So that's a busy day because the first one is out at Teesdale. So I don't know if anyone has seen our poster or hopped on our website and seen any of our information yet. But our poster house is the 9-star passive house built by AFI Projects out at Teesdale. And it is an exemplar of leading-edge building materials and technology, and also the quality construction that comes with the requirements for passive house, in that it is very highly insulated and very thoroughly sealed.
Why just the 9-star fascinates me. What with the 10th? What would they have to have done to get that?
So the homeowner wanted to have a little wood heater, so she's got a bionic heater.
Yep.
10 stars actually means you don't need any heating or cooling.
Gotcha.
But she wanted to have a small heater, so that's that puncture in the building envelope, the ceiling of the building. That means it wouldn't get 10 stars. Sure. It would only get 9. But she's got, it's built in a bushfire zone, so it's all the materials have to been built to meet the fire rating requirements. And because it is a 9-star house, it has a heat exchange system, so no hot air is wasted. It's exchanged with the fresh air that is brought into it. And if anyone has seen the poster and or seen the images of her house, it's on 2.5 acres, set on this lovely bush bog amid 300-year-old red gum. So it's
pretty much self-sufficient in a way.
Oh, yes. So she really is going to have, almost zero energy bills. And she's treating all of her water on site, and she's got a very large water tank that will be there in times of need if there is a bushfire and all of those sorts of things. So she will be quite self-sufficient. And I guess that's one of the messages we really want to get across to people. If they take a little bit more time to research their options, they can end up with a much superior outcome, not only from their ongoing running costs, but also the enjoyment and comfort of living in the home. So not everyone has to go to the extremes that Kerry has gone to. She's imported triple glazed windows from Germany. So that's a bit above and beyond. But just proper sealing, and so this year we've got homes.
But just hold up, because I think it's important to show a bit of leadership. And to show how good it can be, because here in Australia, I come from Europe, and you know what? In Denmark, we don't even talk about double glazed windows. That's just a natural.
Yeah.
It's just, who would build a house in Denmark without double glazed windows? No one.
Yes.
Okay. So it's also about showing, how good it is when you do these things.
Definitely.
Even though maybe she had to import them from Germany because she's a first mover. She's a leader in this space.
And triple glazing.
But what we really need to do is start producing the stuff right here.
Yeah.
And double glazing is very common these days, and people perhaps need to research it, because in fact it's not necessarily more expensive. And there also are some wonderful companies that can actually retrofit that secondary glazing. Particularly if you've got timber windows, you can see. I've seen examples, and you can't even tell that it's been retrofitted to secondary glazing. So there are some solutions. So on Sustainable House Day, we've got a good mix of new homes where people can see some new technologies and get some new ideas. A lot of them are on the smaller side. So the house at Teesdale is not a big house. So build quality, build small, and you will be rewarded, and obviously have some outdoor living spaces. So, yeah, that's the way to do it, and leave space for a productive back garden and growing some fruit and veggies and planting some fruit trees, so that you can live smarter and live cheaper, but live in tune with nature, and you'll be so much healthier for it. And so will the planet, yeah.
And long-term, the bank balance as well.
And the bank balance, this is it. So talking about bank balance, one of the other things that we're excited about this year is that we've got a couple of examples of building small and building very small. So out at Nor Lane, there is a tiny home on a tiny block. So the home is 57 square metres on a block of land that's 183 square metres. But this designer and builder is opening this home, and people can go and see how lovely it is. It's got a cathedral ceiling, and it's sun-filled. It faces north, the living space. So in fact, it feels very spacious, even though it is small and modest in its footprint, and therefore also in its carbon emissions and all of those sorts of things when it comes to building materials and running costs. So
what if a lot of people want to see this? Because I know there's a huge interest. There's a whole movement for tiny houses, isn't there?
Yes. Now we don't want people to be delayed on their tour. So this is the one house where we want you to go and book a time.
Oh, okay.
So she will run tours for half hour on the half hour, and so people can hop on to our geelongsustainability.org.au website and click on the link for Sustainable House Day, and then if they scroll down, they'll see information and pictures about all of the homes, and in particular who are the technical experts, because we really trying to make Sustainable House Day a learning experience. And it's learning from locals how to live smarter. And so I think I have over 40 technical experts that are going to be involved on the day at the various houses. So, and over 90 volunteers. We'll probably have 100 volunteers involved in this event.
Wow.
So it is a lot to organise.
It is a festival.
it is a
like
festival.
organising a festival.
Well, when you were
it's
saying,
a learning festival.
It is a learning festival.
Very much so.
And
Very
like
much.
the house out at Annie McRae is opening her house again. It was very new last year. So now she's got the knowledge and the insights of having lived in this house for 12 months. And out at her house in Anderson Road, Drysdale, not only will she be there, her builders will be there, her building designer will be there, the wonderful Tim Adams, who is the guru of living smarter. We've also got Phil Hapgood from Radiant Energies, who'll be out there talking about solar, and so if people have got any questions about solar design or installation, he'll be there. We also have Alex coming across from Mornington again. Now, he's the chap who installed her worm waste sewage system, so she is totally off the grid and off the Bowen water. So she manages all of her waste, grey water, and her black sewage is treated all on site with this worm farm. So people will be there. And the other thing is, when you're talking about secondary glazing, we also have ThermoSmart windows. Now they they're the only manufacturer in Australia, and they're a local company who are a business member of Geelong Sustainability, and they produce the UPVC windows, which is probably what you're very familiar with, Mick, from Europe. And he has set up a manufacturing plant down at Warrnambool, and so he's bringing a little demonstration caravan up so people can pop out there and see that.
So it is produced locally.
It is
I
produced
don't have
locally.
to get them from Germany.
No, you don't.
That's good news.
Designed and produced here. There's some of the examples, but the other one, which is exciting, and I think maybe Dan might come in next week, we wanted to actually give people enough encouragement to actually go and do it yourself. So it is really about DIY or even GIY, which is green it yourself. And so we've got one house in Manifold Heights, which is a two-scar. It's a beautiful looking house. It's a 1940s weatherboard period home, but it's leaky. Its living spaces face south, with a very drafty building. It's still got the vents in the ceiling. It's still got the fireplaces and all those things. So we're using that as a demonstration house for people to come along, see what its problems are, and see how to fix it. So we're going to have some energy raters there that can show very simply how this house has been assessed as 2 stars, and its biggest problem is around its cost of heating. So how can we retrofit that? We have our partners at EcoMaster that are coming down, and they will have displays of insulation products and draft proofing products, and so people will be able to get ideas and advice on what will work in their various situations. So yeah,
What a great way to do it, Vicki. It's a real credit to you.
Oh, well, yeah, because we know not everyone can afford a new home, so we need to be able to encourage people, what can you do with your existing home, and much better. And this year we've also got a real focus on waste minimisation and how people treat their waste on site, but also how they reuse materials. And another example of that is the one out at Belmont at Seaview Parade, and that's a 1950s weatherboard home where on one income over the last 20 years they have just slowly fixed something. And one of the big things they've done is a massive DIY installation project where they've added extra insulation to the roof. There was nothing in the walls, so Scott will teach people how he did his no waste wall insulation project, and also the underfloor insulation. They've taken that house from 1 star to 6 stars. A lot of work, but not a lot of money. So it can be done, and they're talking about the comfort they feel now by having a home that is not leaky, and and it is better in summer as well. It's insulated.
So we should mention that you're going through all the houses very quickly, but if people want to know and go into depth with the houses, the place to go is really the Geelong website, isn't it? The Geelong Sustainability website.
Go to the Geelong Sustainability website, which is www.geelongsustainability.org.au, and just follow the links there to click on Sustainable House Day. Scroll down, they'll have all sorts of information and pictures about the various houses. The other thing that they can do is this year we've produced a little postcard which has got a list of all the addresses on the back and the opening times, and they can pick one of those up at a council customer service centre, or they go to the Climate Care Forum. So any of these events will have these postcards available, but council customer service centres have got them as well. So people can get that, and there is a little bit.ly map, so it'll open up. So if they went to bit.ly/SHD18 map, they would actually find Google would open up a touring map so they can follow.
For green, clean, sustainable Geelong. The Sustainable Hour.